with Semantic, what we can do is that the user initiates a transaction, we capture the transaction, we send the transaction to be executed first somewhere else, and then settle it on layer 1, layer 2s.
BM. In today's episode, we'll sit down with the Semantic Layer team to explore groundbreaking concepts such as Proof of Soul, GrugBay, or Degen Options, uncovering how these innovations will reshape the Berachain landscape. This is BlockHunters Voices, the podcast for good heels from the blockchain space. I'm Ioachim Viju, your host. Hey guys, great to have you here. How are you?
Thank you so much for inviting us.
We're doing great. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. This is awesome.
I'm really excited, guys. I usually like to start from the start, so I really want to know your background story. How did you guys ended up in crypto?
Dex, go ahead.
Yeah, so for me, it's kind of early. So that was in 2014. At the time, I was a high school student, and went to a boarding school in Michigan. And at the time, Bitcoin was having its first bull market. Everybody was talking about it. So I assembled a mining machine in my high school dorm. Started mining an altcoin called Feathercoin because why not? School is paying for electricity, right? I got free electricity, so of course I want to monetize it. So that's actually how I first got into crypto. But later, the time when I really started working in crypto, I think that was in 2020. So at the time, I was working for a market maker, and 2020, DeFi just took off, right? A lot of trading volumes started to happen on Uniswap, those on-chain decentralized exchanges. So they were pretty interested in arbitraging the price difference between decentralized exchange and centralized exchange. So that's how I got my first real job in crypto. Doing DEX arbitrage for this market making firm. And later I co-founded a smart contract audit company with Daniel and another co-founder, Zoe.
Yeah, so you guys worked previously with another project, right?
Yeah, so we have been working together for, I think this is the 5th year we worked together. Previously we were doing smart contract
5 years
audits.
in crypto, man, that's 15 years in the real world, so congrats on that.
It's super rare to say team working together for more than 2 years or 3 years. Yeah, my journey to crypto space, similar to Dex, back to 2013. I was still in high school around at that time, first year of high school or something. My friend gave me a magazine. It's actually a very interesting magazine talking about IT stuff. And then there's in the middle in one of the page talk about some new coins called Bitcoin. And basically talk about how Bitcoin gonna reshape the future of finance or something. I got fascinated by the idea of Bitcoin. Probably because I never a good boy in school. I always try to see some new stuff coming out of and trying to challenge existing system. So I feel the concept of Bitcoin itself is very interesting. Then I asked my mom, please buy some Bitcoin for me. And the funny thing is, my first Bitcoin is actually purchased not on any crypto exchange. It's actually Chinese Taobao, the Chinese Amazon. So it's very simple. I just ask, I want to buy $100 Bitcoin, and they just say, okay, cool. And they also taught me how to download the wallet, how to manage the key, and then I just got my first purchase. And then as Dex in 2019, I met Dex in school's research team. Apparently, he's a guy who knows like the business, knows like the financial market pretty well. And I think back to that time, we are talking about potential use case of crypto, like DeFi. And Dex was talking about. Wait, Dex, you were talking about MakerDAO, right?
Yeah. Oh, a funny story. So we actually have to write a essay for a class at university. So I wrote about MakerDAO, but the professor just said, "Oh, this is a bunch of nonsense. It will never work."
Yeah, yeah.
That was like late 2019, right? So if anybody saw my paper and bought some MakerDAO token, they would have made it like DeFi something.
Yeah, I remember like we were talking about Uniswap and all this like new DeFi design, and it actually fascinated me a lot. And then right after, but at that time in the as Dex mentioned in school, it's still very outdated. Like we're still talking about. I'm actually doing engineering. My research area is about quantum computing and network security, uh, and this decentralized system security or something. Um, but in school, people are still talking about a consensus level security. But at that time, me and Dex and Zoe, we just quickly realized the market is no longer on public chain level. I don't think people are very concerned about consensus security. But on smart contract level, people are really concerned about it. And in 2017, 2018, we already had an ICO, right? A bunch of coins launched during the ICO time has a huge security risk on smart contract level. I actually spotted several interesting, like uh, flaws in the smart contract design. So that's why we quickly started the Verilog solutions, and we survived in the bear market, and we got quite a lot of business. Yeah, in the past we audited a lot of protocol, as Dex mentioned. We audited protocol like Stepan, like Oasis Network, Celo Network, Fuel Network, DeFi derivative like Bandao, NFT derivative like Bandao, and DeFi protocol like Reductive Cartel, Y2K, Fluidity like decentralized exchange like WuFi Swap. We also work like ZK Sync. Yeah, like we basically been there for a long time, and um, yeah, and getting some experience on like security.
You,
Yeah.
you mentioned earlier that you talked to your parents to buy Bitcoin for $100, and I had a flashback now that I did the same thing when I was a teenager, but I had like 20. I was like 20 years old or something, and they said no, I didn't have the same success you had.
No. Actually, at the time when I bought the first Bitcoin, the price is already like $800 or $900. It was one of the first small bull market that a lot of people were talking about Bitcoin. I asked my mom actually purchased like $200-300 worth of like Bitcoin for me. Actually, I later convinced her to put more money, but uh, and surprisingly, my parents actually trust me, so they actually bought some coins for me. And the funny thing is, when I first purchased Bitcoin, the seller he tried to convince me not to buy Bitcoin. He told me Bitcoin is gold, Litecoins is silver, and Ripple coins copper. So buy some silver and copper. Like gold is too expensive. So actually, my first coin is Ripple coin. Um, yeah, for me, Ripple is always a meme. Like when they just announced they're gonna change to meme coin, I'm like, wait, isn't you guys? It's already a meme, like the silver coin, right?
I'm really surprised how Ripple is doing so well
Yeah.
nowadays, Yeah. Let's get into action. So, what is semantic layer and what key problems that is solved within the Berachain ecosystem? If you can give us also an explanation, like I'm 5 years old, because you guys do big brain stuff. A lot of folks don't really understand what you guys are doing.
Yeah, sure. So Semantic is a transaction sequencing layer for applications. So right now, if you use any of dApps, any of layer one, layer twos, you sign the transaction gets sent to the block builder or the sequencer. then it's outside of the application's control, right? It cannot like customize any execution route or execution rules for a transaction. So as a result, all the dApps nowadays, they're kind of limited by whatever chain they're deployed on. So if I build a dApp deploy on Berachain, then I can only use infrastructure that are currently deployed on Berachain. So if my dApp wants to use some AI inference network, for example, that wasn't deployed on Berachain, as a developer, I just simply cannot do that. But with Semantic, what we can do is that the user initiates a transaction, we capture the transaction, we send the transaction to be executed first somewhere else, and then settle it on layer 1, layer 2s. In that process, we can also help those steps to capture MEV revenues that are coming from the trading activities. So what we can bring to the Berachain ecosystem is that first we can allow those Berachain dApps to capture and monetize all those trading volume and capture those MEV revenue. And second is that we can allow those Berachain dApps to use and leverage those infrastructure, those co-processors that might not have deployed on Berachain yet. So this gives developers a lot of flexibility on what they can build on Berachain. And I think Berachain developers, they're very creative, and they are able to use Semantic Layer, to build some interesting stuff.
So basically, at the end of the day, you are making people's life, improving people's life and making them easier and better for developers.
Yep, we're making dApps more flexible, and we're enabling dApps to capture MEV revenue as a new kind of business revenue source.
But
Yeah,
besides the MEV stuff, you also introduced GrugBay and features like proof of soul. Can you get a little bit into that? But excuse me, I hopped over you, Daniel.
Oh yeah, like I just wanna further explain on top of Dex what Dex just mentioned. Um, uh, Basically, like the purpose of blockchain is try to make everything transparent and fair. But MEV is not. What is MEV? Is simple. It's just like when someone, like because it's all public ledger. So when you post your transactions before it get confirmed, someone can see your transactions and then front run your transactions.
Exactly.
For example, if you are buying some coin, you're buying some Bera token, and someone spotted, and he's a very good like MEV front runner. He just front run your transaction, buy before you, and dump right after you buy. So he got like free money basically, without actually contributing to your trade. I mean, he probably contributed to the Berachain validators, because he need to pay the fee for the transactions, but he's not helping users like you to settle a transaction at a better price. So this brings unfairness to the game. So what we are doing is simple. We just want the game be more fair, and we want it's almost impossible to eliminate MEV because it's very hard to judge whether your run is a front runner or not. But we can bundle transactions and send it to the auction flow, and those like auction buyers, they will basically pay for settled transaction for you, and they basically will mitigate the MEV for you, and the money that you get from rebate can distribute to like dApps or users, whatever is the best way to help the community. So essentially, very simple. What Semantic Layer is doing is just to help blockchain to make the blockchain system more fair, and let users less worry about their potential mistakes on chain. So
Yeah, I think what we need to take in consideration here, that the new people that we onboard in DeFi don't really know what slippage is. I remember when I was trading on Uniswap on Ethereum, and I didn't take in consideration slippage, and somebody front ran me, and that's I mean, if this happened to you, it means you know the space and you are on OG, let's say like that. But it's not normal, because somebody gets burned like this, they are not coming back. We are the ones that stayed, but at the end of the day, we want people to have a good experience from the first time, not the second time or the third time, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Exactly right.
GrugBay, can you tell us a little bit about what GrugBay is and what exactly is proof of soul?
Yeah. So GrugBay is this interesting gatekeeping mechanism for NFT communities. And the reason why we came up with this idea is that Daniel and I, we were trading a lot of NFTs back in the days, like every back when NFT was hot. And we just recall like from that experience, like some of those NFTs, they started out as a very niche community. You got people who know the lore, people who understand the culture. But as the floor price rises higher, right? You got more and more people buying, trading that NFT, just purely to make a profit. So what problem that brings is that it brings this cultural dilution problem. Right? You got people who are in just for the profit, like people who might not necessarily understand the culture. And also there's the same issue with new NFT issues as well. So you got a lot of people who writing customized bots, and they would just buy those NFTs just to make a quick flip without necessarily understanding the community behind it. So we were thinking, okay, how do we design some kind of mechanism, to gatekeep an NFT community to ensure that the NFT community keeps this like cultural coherence. I mean, 3 years ago, it wasn't there wasn't a good solution. You cannot just have somebody to manually verify people do you understand culture or not. But nowadays, it is possible, like with AI agent. So basically, GrugBay allows anybody to launch an NFT collection and customize an AI agent where the user have to answer or that to actually convince the AI agents that they do understand the culture of this NFT community before they're able to mint a collection in there. And just for fun, so our first collection is called IQ50 collection. So I guess you saw the IQ50, IQ150 barbell meme. So you actually have to convince the AI agent that you belong to the left side of the curve before you can mint that NFT. And we did some internal tests. It is actually pretty hard to convince the AI agent that you are IQ50.
And how does proof of soul come into play here?
Yeah, so proof of soul is essentially asking the users to prove that they are not
they are left curve. That's what they have to prove, right?
Yeah, they have to prove they are left curve. They have to prove that they are not a bot. They have creativity. Because nowadays it's very easy to build a new projects. You got all those different VPN service. You have like different browsers set up, and you can. I heard there are even like people who are using ChatGPT, to chat within some projects Discord.
Oh really?
Pretending to be real users.
Really?
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. And we all know like KYC. First, KYC. A lot of people they don't like KYC because they don't want to upload their
data,
their documents. Yeah, and the second thing is that KYC is actually very easy to buy. So we saw that proof of soul is probably a better way to prove somebody is a real person, and second, prove that this person can like contribute positively to the community.
And when do you plan to launch the collection, the IQ50 Club?
So we're planning to launch this with GrugBay, which will also launch on Berachain mainnet. So whenever Berachain mainnet comes live.
Yeah, and I remember talking to you. You said it's gonna be 100% community. So the only thing you have to do is convince the bot that you are left curve, no white list, and stuff like that, right?
Yep, it's 100% like common research.
Researching semantic layer, I came upon application-specific sequencing as that basically empowers the app developers concerning transaction ordering, execution policies, and stuff like that. Can you talk a little about this?
Yep, yep. So if you look at the current way that dApps are being developed, so usually as a developer, you choose a ecosystem to deploy first, and then you look at, okay, my application needs Oracle, so what oracles are available on this layer 1 or layer 2? My application needs some other external infra, what is available? So as a dApp developer, you are really like limited by whatever infra that's deploy on your layer 1, layer 2. And once you deploy there, it's pretty hard to also expand to other ecosystems because those infrastructures might simply just not there. The reason why developers are limited is because once the users are interacting directly with the chain, they are not really interacting with the dApp, right? But what application-specific sequencing can do is that it decouples the dApp from the layer 1 and the layer 2. So with application-specific sequencing, dApps, they're able to program what happens to the transactions before it even gets executed by the layer 1 and layer 2. And this gives dApp developers a lot more flexibility in terms of the infrastructure they want to use. In terms of security, they can implement some transaction policy. For example, if some transaction is going to take out 50% of the TVL, they can put that transaction in a quarantine. It also gives developers the option to implement transaction ordering, right? What if those developers, they want their applications to not leak MEV revenue, right? And also more on the transaction ordering now. Actually, we're seeing some examples, like for example, Hyperliquid. Like Hyperliquid, they always sequence the order cancellation transactions before other transactions. So this is a specific design that's like very useful for the exchange application in this case, and they can do that because they're their own chain. But for applications that deploy on other layer 1 and layer 2s, those applications, they cannot do that right now. But they will be able to do this with Semantic Layer.
We've talked about MEV, about GrugBay plus Proof of Soul and the NFT collection, the IQ50, the application sequencing sovereignty. Tell me about the Degen options because I know they were like a reward mechanism based on the trading volume. Can you talk a little about this?
Yeah. So the idea of Degen option comes from us like looking back at DeFi Summer, just thinking about what made DeFi Summer,
great. What made DeFi Summer great?
Yeah, what made DeFi Summer great? And we think like the reason why DeFi Summer is great is because of liquidity mining. It's a mechanism that got a lot of people to very actively involved on chain. It is a mechanism that helps a lot of those new assets to bootstrap their liquidity. But also liquidity mining has its own problem because you're giving out its own token as a reward. So there is this farm and dump meta. So it's not really sustainable. So we look at liquidity mining and we saw, okay, liquidity mining is a great mechanism to bootstrap liquidity, but it's not sustainable. So how do we make it more sustainable? How do we align the interests between the token holder, between the dev, and also between the LPs? What we came up, the answer we came up is let's use an option. So instead of giving out that token as an incentive, let's give out those liquidity providers and give out those traders who are actually trading a certain coin an option as a reward. So with Degen option, annually trading the token that's on Degen option, they're able to earn the what we call a Degen option, which has the strike price and also has an expiry price. So basically, if the spot price of that token dips below the expiry price, then the option expires versus. But if the spot price keeps rising above the strike price, then people can exercise that option for a profit. Degen option aligns the interest because for the token developers, they are given an option, they're incentivized trading volume. So that generates a lot of trading activities for their tokens. For the LPs, benefits LPs as well because we're incentivized trading volume, which means each trade contributes the trading fees to those LPs. And for the token holders, it also benefits them because they don't have to worry about the farmer dump kind of meta because people are not receiving the token directly as a reward. So it's a very interesting mechanism to realign the interests between the LPs, devs, and token holders.
Nice, I'm really looking forward, guys. But Daniel, Dex, I'm really curious, what does a day in the life of Semantic Layer founders look like? How do you stay disciplined, motivated, especially in times like now, the market is dumping, blood everywhere, blood in the streets, emotions everywhere, waiting for the mainnet, waiting for Q5. Q5 isn't coming, is coming,
Yeah, I think that first of all, we had plenty of experience in the bear market. So it's not the first
rodeo.
Well, I mean, yeah, we cannot really call it a bear market, but I mean, we experienced up and down. So, 30% drawback is feels like nothing.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with Dex. Right now, I think today it dropped how much, 8% or 5%. It's really nothing if you experience the market back to 10 years ago. It was crazy. I still remember back to 2017, September 5th, when the Chinese government announced ban the bitcoins. The Bitcoin price dropped more than 30% in one day, and following that, it keeps dropping from $1,000 more, to a couple $1,000 all the way to $500. Honestly, market doesn't really affect me a lot. Whenever there's actually a very good thing you can do, when market goes down. First of all, buy more coins for sure, right? But second of all, whenever a market is down, I try to spend more money with the people actually around you, with your friends and with your family, because no matter how big your investment is, in the end, you still need to gonna spend with your family and with your friends, right? So, I always when market is crazily down, I always will just get away from the market and spend more time with family and friends. So, and talk about the day of life of us. First, basically, our there's no break for me, Dex and Zoe. We even though after work, we still talk about projects, some interesting stuff we found on Chan. Usually in the early morning, I will have a sync up call with Dex, just to sync up some knowledge on certain projects. Usually, I will ask Dex more about because I always will find out some interesting DeFi projects or something that we could work with them. I will mostly have a call with Dex first, and then we have a daily stand up sync up, and then I usually will jump to have several meetings with either VCs or with developers, and then most of the rest of the time I will spend on reading some research and sometimes doing the development. Yeah, this is basically the day of life for us. Basically, 24 hours besides from sleep is all on market. I think the hard
That's the
part.
way, man. That's the only way
Yeah,
to make it.
that's the only way.
I'm overburdened all the time. I don't know how it's not to be overburdened.
Yeah, there's a funny thing like people talking about lately about like being in the crypto market means you have to be in the right group chat. So that's basically like you have to be in the right group chat, like finding the high quality like either developers talking about something very serious, or or find the really good people who can spot new projects. Luckily, I have several friends who are just really good at finding new projects. Um, they will send us some new projects every single day, and we're gonna quickly check their website, quickly check what's the project doing, check their background, just to learn more from different like the new upcoming projects. So I always feel very lucky, and I'm so excited to have a chance to to have a team to actually have money to do a small business, like to start up to back to the time when we were doing the Verilog. uh, we don't have any we don't have any fundraise. It's all self bootstrapped. Um, and right now in Semantic Layer, we finished 2 rounds of fundraise. So I always feel very lucky have a chance to do what we dreamed of. So that's why we're 100% in. We're all in for doing for the Semantic Layer.
I'm great. I'm great to hear that. You talked earlier about family and friends, and I'm really curious that if you guys had to make, did you guys have to make sacrifice in your personal life to get at this point in life? Because
Yeah,
being a founder sometimes is a lonely journey, even if you are two co-founders. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It is. It is. Yeah, I mean, like for me, I just recall when I was about to graduate from college. All my friends they went on to work with for Amazon, Google, Apple, Facebook, right? And I was all in Web3. Like they don't understand. Like at the time, 2020, Web3 was still like very nascent. A lot of people they still looking at it, looking down at it. So yeah, I definitely took a leap of faith, and I'm just very grateful for where I am right now.
yeah. Like I remember, same thing for me as well. Like back to 2020, I actually got a job offer, um, from several big IT companies like Tesla and a bunch of like others. But I gave up. I
You gave
actually,
up the corporate ladder.
yeah, I gave up not giving up the corporate life. It's more like I made decisions on I should go to the Web3, like to really follow what I think is important in the future. And yeah, we made the right decisions, jumping to the market at the right time. Um, and also, another thing I think, um, like last year, because we were doing the fundraise and also shipping the product at the same time, so I, I totally gave up my personal health. I actually gained more than like 30 pounds. Um,
Oh, damn.
yeah, uh, but my parents told me, okay, right now you finish your last run and you guys already have like 90% of product done. You should spend some time to like to make make yourself healthier for the better. It's easier for you in long run to run a business. So yeah, like I spent some time end of last year as well. Like I think I lost another 20 pounds. I'm still on the way to losing another 20
Congrats.
pounds, but yeah, I'm getting back very soon.
Um, what has been one of the toughest challenges you faced with Semantic Layer until now, and how did you guys overcome it?
I think the most challenging phase was during the end of last year, actually during the beginning of last year, where the market was extremely down. And right now we have new meta, like we have AI agents, uh, like we have like Hyperliquid. But back to earlier next year, I don't know whether you guys remember, or like 2 years ago, it was crazily down. Like, there's even no new things in the market. Um, um, but but luckily, me and Dex and Zoe, we were in the Flashbots events, and people were talking about MEVs, and we came up with the idea of semantic layer, like design an auction flow, try to capture the MEV, and we firmly believe this is the right approach to do. So we started to do the fundraise. That is the hardest time. Well, like you literally couldn't raise any money, and you still need to like you still firmly believe your idea. So we actually spend our own money to support the team, to hire more engineers, join the team, and develop the projects. Um, and yeah, that is the hardest time. But luckily, there are still good VCs in the market. They see the value of the auction flow. They know the business and still continuously doing investment during the bear market. So luckily, we got our lead offer around April last year, and
Nice.
then yeah, and we we and then we just get back track onto the fundraise. Um,
I know that you said earlier that you had two rounds, and I know that the seed round, the public one, you raised 3 million, and it was led by Figment Capital. The second one is like pre-seed, or is it a round after the seed, a private round or
it's
something?
a very small angel round. It's only like
Okay,
100K. But a lot of our friends invested in us, and
the first supporters of.
yeah, first supporters, like Essential Networks co-founders, really appreciate one of their co-founder. Right now, he's taking a break called Alex. He lives in yeah, he lives nearby our cities. So we often like chat a lot about like projects. At that time, Essential just finished their first round as well. Yeah, he helped us a lot. He introduced us to like Drone Angler, Share co-founder, and Few Network founder. Um, and yeah, like I really appreciate a lot of people who help us back to the early days where we literally have nothing, only an idea, but they still trust us and give us money to support our business. So it, well, like, so talking about, so yeah, that's this things are actually very emotional. Like when we're talking about the
Yeah, I
fundraise,
can feel it.
yeah, like it's really hard to find people to give you money and to support you to build your dream, like when especially when it's super early, right, when you literally have nothing, only have a deck, have an idea. Yeah, I really appreciate all my friends help. And Yuki from Fenbushi Capital, he helped us a lot on our second round. Fenbushi Capital also invested us on the second round, and he been like helping us to find the new investors and helping us to reshape the ideas. And right now he's working for the Cereal Labs. Also, Cereal Labs doing great. They got investment from Paradigm Venture as well. So pretty good.
You have a lot of good names out there.
Yes, thank you.
That brings a lot of credibility. But I'm curious, are you planning to do a community round? Eco is very popular nowadays, or a private round in the future?
Yeah, for sure. We definitely will do a community round in the near future. But we actually in the conversation with several groups on Echo. They reached out to us lately, but we haven't had a call and sync up with them yet. But I think we're gonna do it this week. For sure, community first, and especially in current situation, like the market are really against certain projects and raise crazy a lot of money from VCs, and basically just farming their users. I totally disagree with this, and we are not intending to do this. Uh, some necessary funding is good. Like not everyone are like hyperliquid founders lucky enough to and support their own project without having any fundraise from institution. Actually, if you have good institutional investor to join you, it's actually a good thing. Their suggestions are valuable to you as well because they have been investing like probably hundred projects. They know the life cycle of projects. They can tell you what you need to prevent and what you shouldn't do at this moment. So having good VCs is actually good, but you shouldn't have too many VCs. Like I was reading the book from SBF. They actually raised a round with $2 billion and with 150 VCs. So it's impossible to track, to raise such a round, right? I don't see a point that DeFi protocol needs more than like 5-6 million of dollars, to be honest. So you should have sufficient amount of money to survive and to shape the product, to do some marketing, but it shouldn't risk crazily amount that become an asset for the team. So we at Semantic Layer, we're super against this. We actually made a calculation on how much we need for engineering and product development, and that's it. Like, we are not going to raise more than that. The rest of the allocation should all give it to the community, should all give it to the builders on top of you, should like incentive the real users in the ecosystem. So yeah.
Yeah,
This is
Zon from Initia has this similar approach. So he raised like 20 million, 22 millions for layer one with top-notch investors. Binance is also an investor, and he said, I don't want to launch the token with a big valuation. I want to launch it with the smallest valuation I can take, and then to go with the token to go like this rather than like this, as we've seen in. I think last year was the worst with low float, high FDV coins that go from billions to 100 million valuations.
Yeah, exactly. That's also the problem of a lot of centralized exchanges as well. Like, majority of coins recently got listed all basically on the downtrends, right?
Download, yeah.
Yeah, but actually this helps the market a bit because a lot of people realize that alpha is on chain. So we see a lot of trading volumes on chain, and a lot of people are moving from central exchange to on chain basically space. So
centralized exchanges are dead now. Look at all the coins. I mean,
exactly.
We are in a Solana trend, right? So everybody's trading on chain on Solana. Everybody's trading worthless JPEGs on Arbitrum for Berachain. People don't really like exchanges nowadays. It's not that meta anymore.
Yeah.
Talking about Berachain, how did you guys end up in Berachain? Why did you choose to build here? I mean,
we think the ideas on Berachain are pretty wild. you don't see puffball on other ecosystems. yeah. And also, just like we know, like the Berachain team, like from pretty early on, we work with we work with them like pretty early on, and really just like the vibe. I think what makes the Berachain stand out is that their team are very supportive of any creative ideas, and we definitely need some creative dApps this cycle. We don't need another Uniswap 4. We need more stuff like Wait to Earn, right? Those stuff, they're actually like pretty, those are interesting stuff that will bring new users into this space.
Looking ahead, guys, where do you envision Semantic Layer 5 years from now, and what milestones are you excited to achieve?
Yeah, so for Semantic, what we envision is that Semantic can like help connect dApps with different layer 1 layer 2s. What we see in the future is probably layer 1 layer 2s, they start functioning more like banks, right? They hold users' assets, they hold users' money, and any of the interaction with dApps will settle on these layer 1 layer 2s. Just like I can use my credit card in any store, gas station, and it all settles on my bank. But those dApps, they are able to like decouple from the layer 1 layer 2s that deploy to. The dApps, they can use whatever infrastructure they want without depending on the layer 1 layer 2 to support it, but just the final settlement happens on those different layer 1 layer 2s. And the Semantic Layer will be the one that connects those dApps with those settlement layers.
Nice one. We are entering the last chapter of the podcast, and we want to wrap things up with some rapid fire questions to get a sense of where your head's at when it comes to crypto. But for this one, just quick top of mind answers. Besides Berachain, what's got you most excited about crypto these days?
AI.
What's the most underrated and overrated idea in crypto right now?
I think it is NFT. It has been ignored for quite a while.
So underrated is NFT? And
yeah, I think it has been ignored for quite a while.
Right. And the overrated idea?
Overrated idea. That's a good one.
A bunch of infras, basically.
Infra.
Over-indexing on high super.
Yeah, exactly. Totally agree.
One piece of advice for founders entering the rabbit hole of Berachain.
Build some MVP first, and experiment your idea first, and focus on community.
Well, my suggestion is simple: just be fun.
Just be fun. That's what Berachain brings to the table, right?
Exactly. Just don't be don't do anything mediocre. Just like you have to be either left, like extremely left, or extremely
Or
right.
this or this.
Yes. Yeah. Don't do anything. Don't think about like doing some like fixed earning project, this kind of things. Nah. Like people here for experience.
I have one better. Don't put rocket emojis in tweets. In ChatGPT tweets.
Exactly.
Favorite Web3 apps you actually use?
Apps that I actually use these days. Well, CallSwap.
Same. Yeah. Call swap. There's
CallSwap.
actually a AI app I've been using pretty frequently called Perplexity.
Haven't heard it actually.
It's actually a very interesting app. Like basically, it connects to OpenAI, but also connects to like a bunch of like online information.
Aggregator.
Yeah, aggregator. So it basically can tell you. It's basically a better version of OpenAI. Very interesting.
Yes, I'm gonna ping you about exactly that name.
Yeah.
It's interesting. What's a crypto-related topic you've completely changed your mind in the past year or 2 years?
That's a good one. Something that has completely changed my mind. Or I think, well, actually, AI plus crypto. Still, like, I've been talking about this a year ago. Also to a lot of investors as well. And I remember just in the beginning, people were very skeptical. People thought you just put one buzzword with another buzzword. Right? But I'm just glad we see people actually start building stuff. You look at Eliza OS, we got like hundreds of contributors contributing to GitHub, and since that actually been built on AI plus crypto, so it's not just a buzzword times buzzword.
Yeah, I really had that question in my mind that does AI need crypto or does crypto need AI? And I think things really start to shape out, but it's still a work in progress.
Yep, I think it's a pretty symbiotic relationship. Yeah.
That's all, guys, for today. Thanks for hopping in. I really hope we've covered everything about Semantic Layer, and have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.